All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday, December 19th, currently 2:47 p.m., and I'm here to give our update from the Council, Unified Program Leadership Council. We had our third meeting and we're fortunate enough to be joined by Christine Erickson, who is currently running for mayor of Sioux Falls. She had an interest of joining me in places that I felt she should observe and see the whole picture of this city that she might be in charge of next June. So great honor to have her, but let's get into the agenda for the day. As usual, we have our chair read the call to order. We have our roll call and a reminder that we have about 25 people. We were missing a few today for reasons I'm not quite sure of, but we'll figure that out another day. Our good news report was shared by Author of My Life, and they have their graduation coming up in January of a new cohort of about 12 guys that will be completing their 6-month journey of continued mentorship and leadership training. And then we also have our Dear Community letters and videos are going to be viewed inside the prison. They'll get to see their videos for the first time, and we'll have some special guests in there to celebrate this moment. There's 11 videos total. Mine just came out this last Tuesday, and if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, the gentleman whose letter that I read, he's out and he's successfully back into the community. I'm not saying there isn't challenges, because there absolutely is. Talking about reentry support services, how we can better that, there's always going to be a way to better that, but he has definitely taken it upon himself to find work, get his place, reconnect with community, and we got him connected to a bunch of other resources. So mentoring him has been a blessing, and I'm very proud of him. So shout out to Joseph One Skunk. You're doing amazing. So that's Author of My Life. Next, we had Muslim Islamic Society. They really gave a high level, like who we are, what we do, and how we want to connect with all different religions and work together and strengthen religious groups in a holistic sense. So not necessarily just identifying with your specific line of religion, but how can the Muslim community support you as a person? And I think that is a fantastic way of bridging gaps and just supporting one another. But that report was very humbling on their call to action to get invited to different religious groups and learn about each other. So shout out to the Muslim Islamic Society. Great good news report. We had to punt the finalization of our bylaws. We did have a lengthy conversation in our last meeting about who gets elected, who is chosen for different spots. And to be quite honest, I was a little surprised with how long that conversation went last time. I think that in the world of getting told no majority of your life, and we have this opportunity of being a unified council, when you start to hear yes, it's a lot, it's exciting, right? Like you're motivated and you want to be involved in everything and you want to have the most impact and action now. And what I'm seeing and having feedback from another volunteer, Angela, I'm just going to say her name. Hopefully it's okay. Angela Schaufelman is, we have to remember that I am the volunteer and that I do have the final say so on things. So where I do feel like our conversation with bylaws is getting a little bit not out of control, but it's going really far. We're getting into the nitty gritty of things. Their passion remains, and they feel very strongly about making sure that everybody has a fair chance. And I think that's great. And I think that we have a lot of healthy growth. Reminder that we do good governance. So people get called upon to speak And the people who struggle with it most are us, the outsiders, the OC staff. Like we struggle with it, and they're doing a great job. So bylaws to be continued, but we have a good start. Next, we have the committee updates, and currently the Education and Literacy Committee have a standing weekly subcommittee meeting. And what they plan on doing and have approval for is getting graduation updates and celebrations put on their tablets so people can see pictures of those celebrating stuff. We got current enrollment numbers, some programs, and just an overall update on subcommittee. But there's a lot of great things going on with education and talking about getting more classes and night classes, working with Southeast Tech, all that was a part of that. Next is vocational and job skills training. They reported that 18 people reported having a certified forklift and hoping to get soft skill trainings on the tablet for anybody who's working on getting a job. They also are hoping to get more contracts within the system, and landing a contract with the city would be a huge win for Pheasant Land Industries to get more work for people and get opportunities going for more than who they currently have. Another area would be expanding some of these initiatives into the women's prison. We just don't talk about the women's prison enough, unfortunately, and I'm glad that the guys are thinking about them and that the Pheasant Land Industries folks are thinking about them. How can we expand this to the women's prison? They are going to incorporate Leaders of Tomorrow training into the work, which I think is fantastic. If you don't know about it, definitely look up Bridging the Opportunity Gap South Dakota and learn about Leaders of Tomorrow and what sort of impact that has on people in being better leaders. But they're going to incorporate that training into their workforce that they have. So that's fantastic. Next is culture and policy. Never a dull moment in culture and policy. We did talk a lot about the health and cleanliness of the place and how there can be self-initiated responsibilities if you work with your COs and have good communication with them on getting people signed up to support just the cleanliness. So the guys have taken it upon themselves to move that forward, and there should be more opportunities to keep the place clean and have a sense of pride in their space. And I think that was a fantastic, easy initiative within the last 2 weeks to get moved forward, and it sounds like it's going to go well. So that's good. The next thing that we talked about was the shower situation. I'm not fully clear on it, but what I will say is that we have a plan as a unified council to sign something in support of operating currently unused spaces and securing that to streamline more efficient use of time. I'm saying that very politically correct, but that is essentially what it is. But we're going to sign something together, hoping that we can get that changed for the betterment of the whole community to be more successful in getting places on time and having the space they need to shower. That's pretty. It seems simple, right? But that's an issue they're currently working through, and I love that it got brought up and it was discussed, and we motioned and second that we would be a part of putting forward a plan and solution focused opportunities on how to solve this issue. So moving forward with that. Next we have another culture and policy. We're really going to streamline this survey. I know I talked about it last time. We have a really lengthy survey that I've been gifted permission to bring it down into one. And we talked through and decided that it's going to be better to do face-to-face surveying versus asking to put it on the tablets, because it's just more interactive. And like, I'll be the first to admit, if I get a survey in my inbox, I might not do it. I feel like I'm more inclined to do it because I know the importance of surveys and I know that's how you get grant funding and that's how we make decisions. But like without knowing that, I never took surveys. So there, we decided as a group that it was going to be the subcommittee that was going to do face-to-face survey interviews to really see what people care about and the things that our council can focus on. And big hairy dream would be to get a 100% survey back from all about 800 people there and really know and evaluate what we care about and what our council can do. So that's huge. That would be a huge lift in directing what we do. The next group was Faith and Mental Health. They are focused on a mental health and wellness conference, and they're reaching out to outside entities. So if you are a person that believes in supporting mental health and wellness amongst this population and want to offer to speak or help support putting on a conference, please reach out to me because we obviously are working with a no budget. And if you have a heart and passion for getting the message out on how to um, maintain your wellness and can help me, then please let me know because we're looking for people. And I love that they're already working on it. They're independently making asks, but I know it's a lot easier for me to make asks. So let me know. The next area was all the programs and mental wellness trainings that are being offered. We went through that list. The one that's coming back is anger management, and the reentry one is fairly new, so that was talked about. But our DOC rep in mental health services went through the list and said which ones are still available, which ones are a little bit newer, which one's a little behind. Just gave an overall update, which I think is amazing that we have that knowledge and perspective on her side of things to know what's available and maybe what's going to take a little bit of love to get really going. So that was a good update. We did have a gentle reminder that right now things are slow. Volunteerism can be hard because a lot of people are taking vacation. When I mean people, I mean staff. Sickness is quite common. So even if there's a full staff day, it's really not because people are gone. And transparently, we had a pretty slow entrance to get in because we had a low staff. So we had to take a minute to get through the door, get an officer where we needed. So everybody is safe. And I totally respect that. Definitely want to abide by the systems of safety. But it does get hard on a volunteer, obviously. We had to push back a little bit, which cut into time, which made us a little bit later. So that is a challenge. And I know that's being addressed by the Rehabilitation Task Force on staffing. So that was a good reminder shared with everybody that even though they may be quote unquote fully staffed, chances are they're really not. They might just have a full hired people, but there's a lot of people gone right now. So the next thing that we did was talk about our newsletter initiative, and I'm really, really excited about this. My energy is kind of low right now. It was a lot to work through today, and sometimes I do get caught up in feeling like I need to solve all world problems, but also like make sure everybody's safe. And um, today I just continued to have to remind myself that my energy needed to be on point so everybody else's stayed on point because again we started late, so it was a little disruptive. But the newsletter last time was a point of contention. There were some discrepancies on how it should look, but we seem to have finalized what that newsletter is going to look like, the layout of it. Our target launch date will be by the end of January 2026, and we're going to start to do bi-monthly until we get the roll of it and feel comfortable with it. And we're working with Pheasant Land Industries to design it and make it look nice and clean and have information and dates and celebrations and drawings and everything will be. It'll just be a great way to connect people. And another big hairy goal would be to get it onto the tablets so everybody can have access to it. But we're working on it. Um, yeah, I there was so much. I could probably do a full like 2-hour update. Again, if you make it this far, then like thank you for being invested in our community in this way, and thank you for caring. If you don't know what you can do to help, I would say, um, if there's a way to be a part of the M2 mentorship program that's inside the walls, then reach out to me and I can connect you to that person. Another way to support this group and all people is if you work somewhere that would even consider hiring someone who's formerly incarcerated, that is a huge need. And then if you're an industry person or have influence over an industry that would like to partner with Buzzland Industries and get some work done in there, please reach out. They do bids for pretty low and can do fantastic work. So that is my call to action, I guess, is mental health conference. If you're passionate about that, please reach out. I would love to connect you to that mental health and wellness committee. If you want to donate books, I'm going to be getting a list of books that people need. If you are a business or an industry that would consider hiring formerly incarcerated people, I need to get that list going and shared. And then lastly, if you are in the industry and could use work like print work, shop work, any of that stuff, Pheasant Land Industries, I can connect you with the gal for them to put in a bid to support you and support the guys ultimately to make a wage. So those are my updates. Again, I want to give a special thank you to Christine Erickson for coming in. She has a couple ideas for the work that she does in connecting and getting some trainings on the tablet, which I would love that. So I'm hoping something will come to fruition from our big hairy ideas in that moment. And then again, special thank you to Angela Schoffelman. Is my sounding board. So at the end of every meeting, I call her, we discuss what we feel and think, if we saw the same thing. Fortunately, unfortunately, we have big personalities in this group because they're leaders. And sometimes I don't know if I'm seeing it correctly, and sometimes I don't know if I am doing the right thing. And it's really nice to have another person in there that can observe and has a lot of experience, like she does, last 7.5, 8 years working with this population. So appreciate you, Angela. I doubt she'll get to watch this because she volunteers like every day, and she's a full-time worker. She's a busy bee, and she still makes time to be there. So more updates to come. Our next meeting is December 26th. Yes, December 26th. I will be there. So it'll be good. Reach out if you have questions. And if you celebrate anything this holiday season, happy holidays. Otherwise, thank you again for tuning in to another update of the Unified Program Leadership Council, and check in for the next time. Have a happy holidays.